All right, staying in the NBA, we're gonna do the NBA awards stuff. Yet all the finalists have been announced. Only we have one award that's already been given out. That's Defensive Player of the Year, but we'll get into that one. I guess we'll tell you if we agreed with that one. But the other ones, we got some sort of predictions. We'll start off in the MVP race. You got no matter what happens, return of the big man, I suppose. As you got Giannis, Joel Embiid, and last year's Nikola Jokic. Drink, who's your MVP?
Oh, I think Joel got it this year. Joel, listen, no disrespect to Giannis and what Jokic done, but it was my belief that Joel Embiid should have won it last year. I didn't cry with spilled milk that Jokic won it last year, but I honestly thought before Embiid got hurt, he was the MVP, and it was like a mile between him and number two. I was clearly wrong on that. But now, this year, Joel Embiid has not done anything to take himself out of the race. I think he wins it this year. What say you?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's Joel Embiid. I think part of it is like I felt like he should have won it last year. It went to the Joker. The thing about this award, or the three finalists, is all of these. You got Giannis is a 3 seed, Embiid is a 4, and Jokic is a 6. So it's not like none of these guys are like on the top of the heap as far as a win-loss perspective, which I think is somewhat unusual. But I think Jokic will still get a lot of votes. I think it's probably between those guys, because I think Giannis probably lose some votes because I think he's had more of a consistent supporting cast. We know what Jokic has been dealing with as far as Murray and Porter Jr. We covered that last segment.
Right.
And Joel Embiid, I don't want to discount he had to go half the year, maybe a little bit more, with no Robin to his Batman. Ben Simmons out here, we don't even know where he is. Looking for a mental health evaluation, and then won't give the team the doctor's notes. So that's what you had. So I think both Jokic and Embiid have really impressive resumes, and I think it's really close. I think it's just one of those preferences, and my preference is Embiid. I think he's a little bit better of a player, but I will say, like, man, Jokic with everything he does, look, 14 rebounds and 8 assists is pretty outstanding. So I think it's going to be really close.
We're now moving over to Rookie of the Year. We got Scott Barnes of the Toronto Raptors, Cade Cunningham of the Detroit Pistons, and Evan Mobley. I don't know if I couldn't get that out. Of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jay, who you got winning this award?
Well, man, I can't cast a vote for someone I didn't watch play a lick of action this year. I'm sorry, Cade Cunningham, but I didn't see y'all nationally televised much this year. So and plus, like these, I don't know, man, these shooting numbers, they're not impressive. 42% from the floor, 31 from 3. It's a little sketchy for me. I really like, and I was high on this kid coming out of college, out of Southern Cal. Man, I really like Evan Mobley. I really like his game. You're looking at 15 points, a little over 50% from the floor. Really doesn't have a whole lot of an outside shot yet. But really, like, you look at what Cleveland did this year. They went completely against the grain with the multiple bigs, with Mobley and Allen the inside. You still got Markkanen out there. He's a perimeter guy. So is Kevin Love for the most part now. But they went against the grain. I thought it really worked until they started, the injuries started really catching up to them. It really ended up costing them. But I'd give it to Evan Mobley. I think Scotty Barnes has had a really nice season too as well. And I think it helps that both of those teams were contenders all the way. I mean, and as far as Cunningham, and this ain't no knock on him, but I mean, I don't look at his stat line and it doesn't blow me away. And then the fact that, like, you was on a team that really didn't do anything, I don't know. I think I'd go Evan Mobley. I'd take Scotty Barnes as the runner-up.
Yeah, I go with Evan Mobley, and I'm going to tell you why. Because think about this. When Cleveland traded for Jared Allen from Brooklyn, right? And we was like, yo, I don't know, Brooklyn should have made that trade. Man, Cleveland got him one, right? Evan Mobley kind of like took the back seat a little bit because everybody assumed, including me, that Jared Allen was going to be the 5, and Evan Mobley was, I guess he was either going to play the 4 or he was going to come off the bench. So it's like, how are we going to make this work? End up making it work. Evan Mobley, even when Jared Allen got hurt, people was like, oh, he hurt? He not playing? Oh, Cleveland still winning like this without him? Oh, okay, no big deal. And he was a big part of that. I mean, he was a very big part of that. His versatility on offense and defense made him a quite unique player. And listen, I think for what is worth, I think Evan Mobley was in the lead for Rookie of the Year majority of the year, by the way. I think Scotty Barnes towards Cade Cunningham, look, you had to have 3. Okay, got it. But Scotty Barnes, he ended up ascending towards the end of the season. And I think that's why, like, people might be torn between Evan Mobley and Scotty Barnes, just because when he started skyrocketing in Toronto, because you remember, we talking about Toronto flopping around earlier in the season, not getting it done, and then all of a sudden the light came on, they started playing better. Scotty Barnes had a lot to do with that. But my thing was, just like I said about Joel Embiid in the MVP race last year, I think the gap is a lot wider. And I think Evan Mobley had some room to like play with a little bit, but Scott Barnes definitely closed that gap. So I'm with you. Evan Mobley 1, Scott Barnes 2, Cade Cunningham 3.
All right, Defensive Player of the Year. This is the one that we've already heard announced. It was given to Boston Celtics guard Marcus Smart, Rudy Gobert, and Mikal Bridges, the other 2 finalists. Drink, did you agree with this one?
Absolutely. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is probably the only award that I care to see the actual placing of the finalists. I want to see, well, I know who was first, so I want to know who was second and third, because I'm telling you right now, if Rudy Gobert was third for this award, listen, if Rudy Gobert was third, listen, this is the only thing you do good in the NBA. It's play defense and get blocks and rebounds. And you just got outdid by a guard. And you might have came in behind a small forward. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The best thing you do, and you're the third best player at that.
Just to get in there, Gobert was third. Bridges did finish in second in this one.
Wait. What you seen that at?
It's on NBA.com.
Yes. So I just want to make sure it's verified, because, you know, people be out here doing it.
Yeah, Marcus Smart got 37 first place votes. Bridges got 22, and Gobert got 12.
You got 12, and this is the only effing thing you do for your team and for the NBA. The Stifle Tower or whatever. This is what you do, and you was third. I swear to God, the next person that try to sell to me that Rudy Gobert's this, hey man, he underrated, boy, man, he best defense player, I'm punching him in the face. We gonna fight. We catching the fade. I don't want to hear nothing else about Rudy Gobert. This dude is super duper overrated. He did that little microphone crap, and what should have happened was Donovan Mitchell should have slapped him like Will Smith slapped Chris Rock for doing that crap, because that's where it all started. That's exactly where it all started. And this dude ain't done nothing since he rubbed his hands all over the microphones. That's what he's going to be known for. Racking up rebounds and blocks and rubbing his hands on the mic and shutting the world down. That's what he's going to be known for. I'm so sick of hearing about this dude. I'm so sick of hearing about this dude. I
think Marcus Smart probably was the right pick. I am pretty pleased that it's not Gobert. I just think at some point, we see this sometimes with certain awards when you have a guy who's won a couple, especially when he's won a couple in a row. All right, man, we took next. Come on, man, you gotta get out of here. Take your trophies, put them somewhere, and can you do something new?
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. I don't care if he win 3-4 in a row. Just give us a reason to want you to win 3-4 in a row. Doing the same thing, what are we talking about?
I gotta tell you, I wasn't I didn't know Bridges had risen to this level as an NBA defender. Obviously, I've seen him play quite a lot lately because of how good Phoenix has been. But I think he's he is an excellent two-way player. But I guess at this stage, you said his defense is taking center stage right now. That's pretty impressive. I gotta say, like, I'm a little disappointed Bam didn't get more love. Bam Adebayo in the voting. He's out here in fourth. That's a guy who I think at some point we'll see him win one of these. I think he's that type of player. But as far as Marcus Smart winning it, no problem with that. And I really did think the tribute that Boston did, bringing out Gary Payton, the last guard to win the award, I did think that was pretty special.
No, that's pretty dope, actually, when you think about it. So moving on to the Sixth Man of the Year award, we got Tyler Hero from the Miami Heat, Cam Johnson from the Phoenix Suns, and dare I say, old father time, Kevin Love from the Cleveland Cavaliers. What say you, Jay?
Yeah, I think this one's no contest. I think it's Tyler Hero by an absolute landslide. And I don't even know. I mean, the one thing I will say about Tyler Hero that I guess it takes a little bit away from it for me is the fact that he played like 33 minutes a game. I mean, those are starters minutes. So technically, like, I know you come off the bench, but like you still pound up the minutes, and that helps you because Kevin Love only played 23 minutes a game. But that being said, I'll still take Tyler Hero over either two of these dudes, and especially Kevin Love. Like, really? You wasn't you like a 26 and 15 perennial all-star, and now we doing the 6-man routine? That what we doing? By the way, I think it's still incredible that he's still in Cleveland. I could have swore every year it's like, all right, the Kevin Love trade watch, where is it? And then just like, I just think Tyler Hero, what he's done this year just blows away these two other dudes. I think that's what it is, quite honestly. Like you said on one of the other ones, like you had to have three. Yeah, you had to have three, and like, but you knew what it was. I mean, sometimes you see guys like Lou Williams and Jamal Crawford, they just dominate this, and I think that's what Hero did this year.
Yeah, I agree. So when it comes to 6-man, this is how I look at it, right? I always say, if this team lose a game, what are the players they're gonna try to like put the blame on? So I look at like, okay, so let's say Miami lose to Orlando, a team like Orlando, right? Then you start looking down. People gonna look to see what Tyler Hero did. They're gonna, what Jimmy do? What Bam do? What Lowry do? What Hero do? You like that's so when I hear that, when I hear a player, they pretty much get put with the starters, and I mean he does technically come off the bench. I think that automatically makes me think, okay, cool, 6-man of the year. Because when I think of Cam Johnson, hey, what Booker do? What Paul do? What Aiden do? Who else? That I think honestly, they'll ask what Payne did before they ask what Cam Johnson did. I'm not no knock on Cam Johnson. I'm just saying, I don't know if the team win or lose on your performance. And then Kevin Love, here's the deal. I think this is just a feel-good story here. You probably could have put somebody else here, but it's Kevin Love, NBA final. You know what I'm saying? Got paid after LeBron left, and I guess he's still earning his money. I'm with you. I'm surprised he's still in the league. I ain't gonna lie. I thought, man, with the way things ended with LeBron, he had his own personal issues going on. I honestly thought he was gonna call it quits. Just choke up the dudes, got my rings, I'm out of here. But he's still playing, he's still kicking and screaming. So, like I said, I think this is just, you know what I'm saying? They just threw Kevin Love a bone on this one.
Most improved player, you got three still up and coming guards with is John Moran in there? Wow, okay. John Moran in there for most improved. You also got Darius Garland. He's that's the third Cleveland Cavaliers semifinalist or finalist in all this. And then the San Antonio Spurs point guard, DeJounte Murray. Drink, who you got from this one?
Okay, so for John Morant, just throwing this out here, I'm a little confused. John Morant, rookie year. Second year, he was an all-star. This year, he could possibly win most improved. So I'm a little confused. I just don't understand why he wouldn't have been most improved in the most improved category last year. Because he went from like Rookie.
I think if you, well, I think that is something that like it's kind of confusing, and I think it's odd for me is because I look at him as like, and I think he's has maybe in another year, or if he was maybe didn't miss all that time where Memphis went like what 18-2 or something without him. I think he's a guy who certainly would got some MVP votes. Yeah.
Right.
Which is why the most improved is like, I mean, but the thing about it is if you look at like his statistical jumps from last year to this year, I mean, his scoring did go up 8 points. Shooting percentage went from about 45 to 49. So he was a little bit more efficient. Rebounding went up. I think he has a case. It's just unusual. Normally you see guys who, they're kind of like role players, and then they take this huge step into like starter or all-star status. So it is a little bit unusual. But I mean, when you look at his jump from last year to this year, I think he's not a bad choice for this award.
No, definitely. I guess, like I said, I was just a little confused because
it's unusual.
Right, because like he jumped, like I guess he accelerated so fast. It's kind of like, did I miss some? So now to this exact question, he should definitely win the award though. I'm not gonna knock. He should be the most improved player. I just wonder how that all ties in when the guy went from a rookie to a first-time All-Star last year, and this year he led the team to. Okay, so let me go into my reason why he should win. First of all, we talked about this earlier. The Grizzlies are the second youngest team in the NBA. I can't get over that. They're the number 2 seed in the West. They was also the number 2 scoring team in the league. Ja Morant had some to do with it, but he wasn't all of it, but he did have something to do with it. With that said, if you're going off individual success, I think these guys are pretty close when you're talking about the jumps and stats. But if you're going off how that team succeeded with those jumping stats, it got to be Ja Morant. I mean, because listen, Cleveland was rolling, but by the time it was all said and done, listen, you didn't cut the cheese. You got in the play-in tournament, and that was the end. And the same thing with DeJounte Murray with the Spurs. I mean, you got in the play-in and you didn't cut the cheese. So it's a little hard for me to overlook a team that's the number 2 seed in the West and their best player to vote for 2 other players that kind of flailed out at the end of the season. And I know you got to go with the totality of the season, but now, Jay, for me, it'll be Ja Morant, Darius Garland, and then DeJounte Murray.
I think because of like the unusual path that we were discussing at the outset with Ja Morant, that's why I like it. I'd rather give this to somebody else, and not that Ja Morant doesn't deserve it, but I just think it's so unusual that I like a guy like Darius Garland, because I'm looking at what Cleveland's been lately, the past couple of years, and just they feel like they've been accumulating a lot of talent, but we just ain't seen nothing, no results from it.
Right.
We saw some results from it this year, not as much as maybe we would have seen before the injuries. But I really, without Colin Sexton, and I thought Sexton was the guy to watch on this team in the backcourt. But now Garland comes out, and like even the limited time I saw him play this year, and I think even when you look at the play-in, I was really impressed by the way he played and by the way he ran that team. So his statistical like jump, I don't think it was as big as Ja Morant's, but what I saw him do and what I take on more responsibility, more the ball handling, playmaking, and all of that, I was really impressed with what I saw from Darius Garland this year, and I would give my vote to him.
All right, I think this is the last one. All right, last one. We got Coach of the Year. We got Taylor Jenkins of the Memphis Grizzlies. We got Eric Spoelstra of the Miami Heat, and Monty Williams of the Phoenix Suns. I will caveat this by saying Monty Williams is also the defending Coach of the Year from last year. What say you, Jay?
Man, I think all these guys are pretty deserving. I also think there's some guys, kind of that didn't win, 50 or 60 games. Yeah, some guys who like you did see, like I look at Chris Finch, like I know they kind of up and down and all that, but like when's the last time Minnesota it seemed like they've done, kind of anything? I think like you look at a guy like Udoka, You look at Boston for how like they was out here flailing at the early part of the season. All of a sudden they just roaring. Same thing with a guy like Nick Nurse in Toronto. Without, I mean, post Kawhi, he's still keeping this thing afloat. You know, he's still moving in a positive direction. So I think there's a lot of guys who are deserving of like us talking about them. But I think these are three good finalists. The thing about it is when you pick the two number one seeds, it's kind of like, I mean, yeah, you did great, but like also Phoenix was just in the NBA finals. So yeah, you did good, but like, I mean, come on, show me something else. And how about, and the same thing.
Wait, hold on, Jay. Hold on now. Let me backtrack a little bit because in the last segment, right, we was talking about the jumps and stats. I mean, listen, they was 51-21 last season. They was 64-18 this season. So that's a good jump for a team that was number 2 last year. I mean,
yeah, but you also have to put that somewhat in context because they played 10 less games last year. So if they had played all those games, there still would have been a jump, but it wouldn't have been a plus 13. It probably would have been like a plus, maybe like a plus 6, 7. Still impressive. But when you talk about the jump, because by the way, Miami NBA Finals 2 years ago, still the same team, really. I think it's Taylor Jenkins, man. Memphis went from last year being in the play-in to getting the 8 seed, and they jumped to the 2 seed. They went from 38-34, so a little bit over 500 to a franchise record 56 wins. And I still look at Memphis, and I don't consider them an overly talented team. John Morant's outstanding. He could be the next best thing cooking. And I mean, Jaren Jackson, I'm with you. You was talking about him earlier. I just ain't seen a whole lot lately. He in foul trouble more than he doing something. I do like what I've seen from Desmond Bane. That's a guy who also I think should get some most improved player love. But guys like that, I would vote for Taylor Jenkins. I really would.
No, I'm with you. Honestly, I don't think this is particularly. I think this is between Taylor Jenkins and Monty Williams. And the only reason I would say Monty Williams got a shot is because I think people are going to say, okay, we was expecting a slack or a step back for Phoenix, and they actually did better. But at the grand scheme of things, I'm with you. Out of these 3 guys, who did more with less? It's Taylor Jenkins. Like, let's go ahead and call it what it is. Second, once again, I'm going to say this again, the second youngest team in the NBA, which means he had to pretty much go, up and down with these young fellas, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't easy. I can guarantee you that wasn't easy. But he made it happen. Ja Morant, he know who his star is. He know what he's doing. I just feel like it's not a coincidence that team went from a play-in tournament to the number 2 seed this year. I'm with you, Taylor Jenkins for me.